like data.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like other backgrounds.
And all this one's
And it's fun finding what you want to get involved with. Oh, that's good.
Oh, and you guys get to see. Oh, no, that's not. Great, it's working. Everything's good.
nice.
Good evening, everybody.
Exactly.
All right, guys, welcome to the February edition of State of Snowpack in Golden. A couple things to go through before we get going here. We have a couple of raffles here tonight. So there's two raffles. One is going to be finish at the end of the season in April. And another one is going to be happening right here tonight. So what you do is you can scan your kids' QR codes with your phone. Apparently they have amazing range. So you can do it even laying back there. You can scan, win that Polaris. So what you do, scan the one on the left to enter the draw for the brand new Polaris sled. Huge thanks to Polaris for donating a Polaris 850 RFK Chaos 155, approximate retail value $21,000 Canadian. Tuesday is Snowpack online viewers. This one you can buy tickets for. The one on the right, scan that one, and it's going to be a raffle for the stuff in person here tonight at the brewery. The prizes tonight are stuff from Kelly Hansen, 2 days passes from Confluence Climbing Gym, and 2 sets of ski poles from Full Room. And that's only available to those physically in attendance. No cash sales, all tickets must be purchased online. Sales close after the intermission. So by the end of the intermission, everything will be in, and then we'll do the draw at the very end of the night. Be sure to stick around for your prize. Yeah, every ticket sold goes to support State of Snowpack. Yeah, they're backcountry public safety outreach and helping us to deliver free avalanche awareness and snowpack education in British Columbia while supporting the community growth of State of Snowpack across Canada. And of course, the more tickets you buy, the better your odds. And the more tickets you buy for the in-person one, you get more tickets exponentially the more you buy. So it will make sense when you spend like, spending $15 is really good, way better than spending $5. They know what they're doing. Okay, great. So. I will. First off, we'd like to acknowledge that Golden is located on the traditional unceded territory of the Ktunaxa and the Lenape people and the chosen home of the Métis Nation, Columbia River Society, and other diverse Indigenous people. I feel very privileged and grateful to be here and be able to live, recreate in both lives, homes, communities, and relationships on this land. We are mindful of how we carry ourselves today, so as to demonstrate our intention to honor this land, water, and all beings. The information we present our own observations are to the best of our ability. This presentation does not replace actual avalanche training. Please sign up for an ASP or CAA course this winter. What you do with the information you present is your responsibility. Please use it responsibly. What is State of the Snowpack? Community conversations saving lives in the backcountry. It is a not-for-profit BC public safety society passionate about empowering backcountry recreationalists with local as it gets, snowpack information on a community-by-community basis, so we can all return home from the winter backcountry safely every day. State of the Snowpack delivers this knowledge through free, community-based avalanche awareness events held across mountain towns every winter. Every season, the network of chapters continues to expand, such as ours, reaching more communities and bringing the story of the snowpack to more people than ever before. Big thank you to our sponsors. We have the provincial sponsors here. We have a great quote here. The State of Snowpack is growing fast, like a snowball rolling downhill, pinwheeling almost. New chapters are launching, more professionals are stepping up, and engagement is skyrocketing. To sustain this growth, we need sponsors who share our belief in connection and community conversations and save lives in the backcountry. And to keep these events free and accessible to everyone, thank you to our sponsors, provincial sponsors, Heli-skiing Canada, Polaris, Arc'teryx, and our chapter sponsors here, the Golden Sky Bridge, Golden's premier suspension-based recreation. Big shout out to all of our local chapter partners for supporting State of Snowpack by promoting and participating. King George Mountain Resort, Brosis, which is our ski patrol not-for-profit that we are all involved in here. That's Ian, but he is wearing a great hat, which will be for sale at the intermission. We'll get into that more after. Also, huge shout out to another sponsor, White Tooth Brewing Company, which I'm sure we're all enjoying a nice tasty beer. Lane, are you drinking a beer back there? Lane is the only one here not drinking a beer. Tonight's raffle will raise money to support State of the Snowpack events across the country. Tonight's in-person raffle is only for those in attendance. Sorry, folks watching online. These guys. Okay, we already went over the other ticket sales after intermission. So yeah, set of ski poles, 2-day passes from Confluence Climbing. Hilly Hansen, got a big prize pack from them. Also, just straight up $600 voucher. Spend at helihansen.com. Okay, so we can allocate many prizes. We're just going to have many prizes. Tickets are 1 for $5, 5 for $15, or 10 for $25. So it wasn't crazy earlier. Okay, Polaris sled raffle. That. Yeah, visit the website to learn more. All right, let's get into tonight's presenters. We have. Okay. First up, Ian Kirschner, ACMG ski guide, owner-operator of High Country Ski Guides, CAA, ITP instructor, and a professional member. Ian is based in Golden and has guided heli-skiing, cat skiing, and ski touring throughout BC and Alberta. He founded High Country Ski Guides 10 years ago and has extensive experience in avalanche education, guiding, and industrial avalanche work. Okay, collabing with Ian is Steve Crowe, avalanche forecaster, King North Mountain Resort, CAA level 3, professional member, and founder and current operator of Skiing Golden. Not founder. Okay. Operator. Video. Okay. Let's get my notes right for next time here. Steve has been forecasting at KHMR for nearly a decade, patrolling for much longer. Much longer. A long-time Golden local is also been sharing snowpack observations through Skiing Golden to help connect resort insights with the surrounding backcountry. We'll just keep going. Let's give you guys a whole rundown. Absolutely. Second guest presentation is Ryan Harvey. Ryan Harvey is also Avalanche forecaster at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. He's a level 3 ITP instructor and professional member. Ryan will present a case study of an avalanche incident he was involved in, sharing lessons learned and reflections shaped by years of experience as a controller, forecaster, educator, and InfoX community member. We'll also be joined by a special guest, Steve Conger, who will give another presentation after that. Steve is in person. Okay. Yeah, little agenda here. We'll go through current conditions in the Snowpack region and any notable storms. However, we'll just go notable weather events, notable layers, upcoming weather, avalanche, Canada Bolton, and any explanations that have to happen with that, problems, any current problems, what's going on, and any notable avalanche events, winds, etc. Part 2 will be Ryan and his Super Bowl case study. Super Bowl avalanche.
For me? Yeah. Hey everyone. Yes, just my name's Kirschner, local guide here in Golden, and happy to be here tonight. So we'll just try to. I wasn't here the last time. I tried to come in, but it was really bad. It was a full house. So anyways, hopefully get a good conversation. I assume last time was a good conversation and good group participation. We'll try to do the same thing. But yeah, so kind of summing it up. I mean, everyone's been skiing for the whole season here. What's the state of Snowpack? There's nothing much going on right now, for the most part. But a bit of a not to go into it too much, but there's compared to early season, the last month has been pretty dry, and I think really slowed down from the really good start to the season that we had. Oh yeah. Yeah, so just sort of an update. I'm sure everyone remembers fondly the start of the season. Just trying to get it to play. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, I'm sure everyone had similar times like that back in the beginning of the season. Okay, how's it now? How about now? Yeah. Okay, was it a bit, yeah, it was a bit soft. How about now? How about meow?
Microphone forward.
How about meow? Okay. That's okay. Was it earlier? I couldn't really. Could you guys hear me at all? Or? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, December, the start of the season recap. December, big record-setting snowfall at Kicking Horse. Record-setting snowfall for December. Lots of snow, good storms, good times. Yeah, just collectively, what sort of thinking back to the season, what was sort of any significant layers for the start of the season? What sort of happened in November? Rain. So what? What do you mean rain? Like, yeah, exactly. So we had a rain crust kind of mid-November up until late, and that was sort of the start of the season as well. Warm temperatures, raining down low. It was great mountain biking. You could get up high, go skiing. We had a rain crust in November, that mid-November rain crust, and it rained up to about 2,100 meters. Then moving on to December started, we had a really good snowstorm at the beginning of December, and then what sort of happened in mid-December? More rain. What were the details on that? December 14th, 15th, rain, and it went up to about 1,900 meters. And then what else happened later in December? Surface horror, yeah. So end of December, so Christmas Day, big storm, great skiing, and then we had an inversion, and we had a bit of a dry period, so we had surface horror forming up high. Got warm inversion up high, so we had a sun crust, a melt freeze crust on a lot of aspects, surface horror. Had a storm, snow again at the beginning of January, so we had that January 2nd layer buried. So it's sort of like bringing us up to the like the Snowpack summary from the early season. And then what have we had since the last state of the Snowpack, which was January 12th? That's it, right about the same time. We had that big bit of a pineapple rain, quite high again. And then since then, what have we had? Cold air down low. Yeah, lots of it. Yeah, totally. So, and it's kind of been like up high. It's been spring skiing in January and February. Kind of feel kind of a good, reasonable summary of what we've been having. So what we had, lots of inversions, so colder temperatures down low, lots of valley fog, and few different melt freeze layers up high, and then that cold air in the lower regions, the areas, elevations, created a lot of having big surface warmth through the season. Okay. Steve and I are just going to pass it back and forth here a little bit. Over to Steve.
Thanks. Didn't I get to teach me a
So, as you have figured out, if you've lived here for a while, and you're going to figure out if you haven't lived here for a while, this is an unusual snowpack for us this time of year. So, I'll just get back into that in a little bit, but basically this is just a graph showing you basically what Ian was just describing. And all these, it's working. This is all the December snow that just kept coming daily. And so this is the purple one is the average HN 24 is the height of new snow in 24 hours. So we measure that every morning. And then the blue is the cumulative through the season so far. So the cumulative right now is just over 400 centimeters. And you can see, so November was pretty good. This doesn't show temperatures or anything. This is just our snow. Big burst here, a whole bunch of them. And then Christmas break. And then January was looking good again. And then the heat that Ian mentioned was through here, and then all the inversions. And then we're just starting to get a little bit of snow again now. And then again, this is just another graphic for you to picture what Ian was just going through. I won't belabor it, but this is what we're sitting on right now. And basically, none of this matters anymore. That's like in our mid-pack or lower than mid-pack, and it's all pretty well settled, and it's not going to surprise us later, pretty sure. We're now more interested in what's going on in the surface.
So just again, sorry, I'm not looking at you because I gotta read this. Can't read this because I didn't bring my glasses. So again, dry January and February so far. Lots of inversions that we've been dealing with. Beautiful spring-like conditions for weeks now. Melt freeze crusts. Large surface water formations, mostly not this big. And then the latest storm we got was in late January. 26 buried that surface water facet layer. Less around here. We are getting a lot of the snow early in the season, but basically getting like kind of half of what the neighbors are getting to the west of us. And then once a week at Kickenhorse, we'll do a profile. If you don't understand what all this means, that's fine. This isn't a class about that. I'm not going to teach you that, but I'll try to just summarize. This is just a visual to help you picture the snowpack we're dealing with at Kickenhorse. Specifically in one spot, we take the profile in the exact same spot every week. So we have that consistency. So this is the latest one. That was done on Friday, so 3 days ago. And the most notable thing is these are showing faceting rounds. I don't believe that. I think it's just mostly rounds. This snowpack is tight. And then what's of note for us right now is right here. You see a CT, which is compression test 3. So that means it was only tapped 3 times from the roof. And an ECTN, also 3. So that's the extended column test, which is just another shovel tap test, which shows you how the avalanche may propagate if you release one. So like easy results, sudden collapse. So kind of alarming results, except there's only about 10 or 15 centimeters sitting on top of it right now. So currently not a problem, but definitely something to note. If our hope for snow arrives, that's what it's going to line up. Also, just one thing about at any point, if anyone has a question, please, I'm hoping this will be more of a conversation than a lecture, so feel free to ask. If something doesn't make sense or I made a mistake that you want to challenge me on, please do. Okay, I'll go back to Ian for this, and we're going to talk about Avalanche Canada's rating.
Yeah, so we'll start talking about the current avalanche hazard, and then we want to talk more about the avalanche hazard and the snowpack around Kickenhorse and in our local area. We thought it's an interesting, like Rogers Pass, lots of us ski up there, and it's just a slightly different snowpack. There's the few changes or a few differences there right now, and then it's sort of a little bit of a glimpse into our future. So currently right now, Rogers Pass it's 3 times moderate. So that means not really expecting natural avalanches, but then huge avalanches are possible. So we have that moderate at all 3 elevation bands. So the big thing with that, and then looking ahead at looking at their avalanche problems as well. They have the persistent slab, which is the January 26th surface ore facets, melt freeze crust combo, and that's at tree line and below tree line. And then they also have they have the wind slab, which is up in the alpine and tree line, so similar to around here. So the big difference there in Rogers Pass, they have a little bit more snow at tree line and below tree line. So they have a little bit more snow and a little bit more load forming a slab over that at the lower elevations, which we just don't quite have that much snow in our area. And then just for info, the graph. So this shows the annual graph compared to the historical averages in Rogers Pass. So very much you can see there, it was earlier in the year, it was almost near record setting above average snowfall. And then once that kind of like mid-January, the taps turned off and we got that little plateau there. So hopefully taps get turned back on and then we can start seeing the graph keep going up. But so we still are, it's interesting, it's still quite a bit, quite above average snowfall for the year. And then yeah, just bringing up to the our avalanche hazard for our area. This is current from today. So we're moderate in the alpine, and then low at tree line and low below, and that's sort of the long-term or the short-term forecast for our area. And we kind of relate that to the recent snow in the alpine. Being that the wind slab is the main concern. We'll get to that on the next page. But the other thing too is currently right now the polygon for our avalanche hazard is from Golden all the way down to Kimberley. So it's quite a large area that they're forecasting for. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, so looking at our avalanche problem for the Purcells right now is they're talking a lot about just about that persistent slab, which is the January 26th layer. Caking Horse right now, sort of the localized avalanche forecast, is just calling for the wind slab up in the alpine. So, and then it's interesting to note that the public bulletin, they're writing for their persistent slab. It's only they're talking about associated winds and loading with that area. So we're still kind of below the threshold on that the persistent slab. All right, I'm going to pass it back over to Steve here.
Try to pronounce that. Shallow. It's a tough one. I'm glad I didn't have to say that. So this is just info. We just took it right out of the Avalanche Canada website. So this isn't our information. This is all available to you guys exactly as it's here. Just probably want to make sure everyone's aware of that resource. I'm sure you all are. Maybe you are. You probably have a pretty keen sense of where to get your information. But currently, what they're telling us to be worried about or thinking about is those wind-loaded pockets Ian just mentioned. Ridges, crests, and rollovers. And then as you're traveling through different elevations, when there is new snow, just paying attention to how it's bonding to the surface, to the crust, if it's following on a crust, and just keeping in mind that a buried crust is an awfully good sliding surface. You do get enough slab on top of that. And then, so again, this is still straight off the website. So the top, so avalanche summary, I'll get more detail about this, but the only two things they mentioned for this immediate area was on Saturday there was a size 2 wind slab that was a skier accidental release, and then just the cornice failures that have began early this year and will continue. And then just their Snowpack summary. For the Purcells is just 5 to 15 centimeters on the variable upper snowpack. And variable upper snowpack is definitely a key term for the rest of this week. Every aspect is different from every other aspect. And elevation. You may have up to 30 centimeters sitting on top of 1 or 2 layers of crusts, facets, or surface ores. As we get more snow, and we will, that, as I mentioned earlier, will become more problematic, sitting on top of the surface ore and facets. But again, below that, rarely do we ever not worry about our lower and middle snowpack. So, as a forecaster, it's kind of a, because most years that thing gets buried early and stays there 1 or 2 or 3 layers that can bother you all season long, so it's kind of a nice break this year, only having to think about the top of the the weather summary, just basically, this is just showing until Wednesday, and I think that is probably true through Thursday, and then maybe Friday or Saturday. Some of the models are starting to agree that there is some snow coming with seasonable temperatures too. So hopefully not rain. It's actually going to be some snow and hopefully a decent volume.
Snow.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be the week to still go chase those big objectives. There is still some really great skiing on the north. I'm sure you've had a look and managed to find some. If you're creative, you can find it. And then just confidence. I don't know if everyone's really familiar with this term in relation to forecasting, but basically we do our best to tell you what we see and what to expect out there, and then we either have low confidence in what we're telling you, or moderate confidence or high confidence. And the folks in Avalanche Canada right now are calling their confidence moderate based on just there's so much variability in the snowpack and surface that almost anything can happen. And then we're just going to talk about a couple notable events here. Now that Ian take this one.
All right, yeah, so this was January 31st. I put this in the presentation because I found it was a good time when the surface tour, the January 26th surface tour later woke up in the South Park. So this was ski touring at the Stash, which is in the Esplanade range. Kind of go halfway between here and Rogers Pass. So it's just like a skier remote, like pretty small, but you can see the hey, yeah, see the traction line there. Yeah, everybody skied down and really low angle terrain and propagated quite a wide propagation of like 10, 15 meters. And it was only about 15 centimeters deep, the slab. But and up high, when we skied into the run up in the upper slide path, there was no slab properties, no reaction up high. But it just showed the when we got down lower, larger surface ore buried and a little bit warmer temperature, so creating that slab properties over the surface ore. So we got like really electric surface ore and really easily trigger little avalanches down low, kind of below 1,700 meters. Whereas up high, we did a quick bit before we skied in. I didn't find any surface ore, but very, very, very small surface ore up high, so it wasn't as big of a problem.
Okay, and then this one just happened on Saturday. You may have seen posted on the social medias. Yeah, just give me 1 sec. You'll just notice, so this is in Langan Creek, which is just north of the resort. Sled access terrain. It's the southeast aspect, so that's the means the sun does hit this slope. 2,600 meters, so that's 900 meters higher than the example Ian just gave you, so you can imagine more snow is sitting on top of any suspect layers. 12:30 p.m., so the sun's been sitting on that for a few hours. And yes, it's that January 26th surface ore back there. Just a little background. This was filmed not by anyone involved with the party that was there. For whatever reason, they pulled out their camera to film these guys. And you'll see there's already an existing track. And that was put in the morning by an experienced local guy. And then these folks, a few hours later, followed his tracks up to the same slope and dropped in. And as you're watching it, just see if you notice anything about them that kind of jumps out at you that you not expect to see when you're in the backcountry. But this is just an example of what is lurking up there, despite the fact that we don't think there's much going on. in some places there's plenty going on. You notice it yet? Where's his backpack? Yeah. And there it goes.
Is this AI?
What's that?
Is this AI?
No. I don't know, I didn't make it. But so the folks that were involved, they didn't want to do a mountain information network post, probably because they're embarrassed. The folks who filmed it didn't feel like it was their place to do one for them. So, but they did send it to a friend who, and eventually the first guy who went down, he got a hold of the video, he put it on the socials, and he did a min. So the information, it's a very limited min, but basically just so the public knows that it did happen and that exists up there. He didn't put the video, he just said there was a wind slap release size 2 inland. So it's not meant to shame anybody, but they weren't wearing backpacks, which indicates they probably don't know what the hell they're doing out there. They followed tracks and they found the biggest avalanche in the area. But they also chose a south-facing slope at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. So those, if you know them, get them into an AST course as soon as possible. But anyway, that's available for all of us. We're all going to probably be skiing in the north, so hopefully we won't encounter that problem. So then we're kind of winding down here, but the other big notable thing to be thinking about for the rest of the season is cornices. They grew super fast this year. Like not only did it snow a ton, but it blew and blew and blew. And the cornices look like April at the end of December. And we've been controlling them at the resort, but they've also been purging themselves within our boundary, but also outside our boundary. And of course, when it gets warmer, they're more reactive. And right now, we're not in that warm period anymore, so we got a bit of a breather. But spring's coming, and those things are only going to get bigger. So the rest of the season, we need to be thinking about cornices. So this is actually triggered by explosive over here. So that's a sympathetic release, like a remote release from an avalanche that we triggered with explosive. Just an example of a big avalanche starting from a cornice failure. And then this one is personal experience. That's me walking up toward the cornice to try and figure out the best place to try to control that cornice, and the whole thing ripped out under my feet. This is in January, earlier in January. But it's just a reminder that we should be staying the hell away from cornices, both above them and being super aware of what's above us. And also considering there's other people out there who we cannot control. So just give those cornices all sorts of space for the rest of the season. So this is a standard question that State of Snowpack wants us to ask. Does anyone have any information about avalanches to share? Does anyone have a personal experience already this year? Why don't we? Something that we can learn from, or just a funny story, or a sad story. Make them laugh or make them cry, that's what they say, right?
Is that how you get the girls?
I got one of these years ago. So, nothing? Okay. This is a shameless plug. So, I didn't found skiing though, and that was Scott Kells and some other folks many years ago, but I've been producing them for years and years and years. And Lane likes them, so I keep doing them. Thanks, Lane. And so I just want to make you aware this is just another resource for finding out this kind of information. I put them out every couple of weeks, so our conditions change sooner. But this one's actually 3 weeks old because conditions haven't changed at all. So I'll play in this one. The information's old, but pretty relevant still today.
Good times in December, fading off, and we're now into the good times in January, which involve clear skies, fast travel, and beautiful vistas. So currently in the Avalanche group, there's not a lot going on in our Snowpack. All three areas, so below tree line, longtime, are all currently rated as low in the upper cells. So not a lot to speak of in terms of avalanche problems. What that means though is it is a great time to get out there and kind of get after it, do some exploring, check out some new terrain, take advantage of that fast travel. But the big caution currently with this snow is we have a real variety of snow surfaces. With some temperature crust, and then also some wind crust and wind crest, depending on your aspect. So not all is lost though. We can get out, explore, check things out. Just be cautious in that variety of snow surfaces. And also we have to keep a good eye on cornices. So with all that early snow this year, our cornices are quite large for this time of year. So just treat those with respect and be really cautious as you're approaching lines along the ridge top. Give them a good, healthy margin of error as you're working around them. You do have to get out and find the right aspect and find the good turns. But again, with the low avalanche danger, it's a great time to get out, practice some safe travel habits, and find some new terrain. So, thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors. And a shout out to the Toms here for our cowboy finally finding his resting place. If you're out on the mountain, I encourage you to come and try and find it. Thank you, and pray for stuff.
Oh, really? No, you're here.
So you saw I mentioned wind and the skiing golden. Is anyone not familiar with the wind? Perfect, I don't have to tell you. Use it. We all read them, so we should also be distributing that information ourselves and make it a whole community effort. Yeah, so just for the takeaways for ours before we switch, I think we have an intermission and then Harvey's going to do his case study. Just a reminder, current takeaways, we're currently in a period of low hazard, but that's probably going to change in 3 or 4 or 5 days. Once are very large, give them the respect they deserve. And as we head west, the hazard is a little bit more elevated there. That's all I got.
All right. Huge thanks to Crowe and Ian. So yeah, we'll be 10-minute intermission here. So try to be back in your seats for 50 minutes for the Connor's great presentation. You may learn where the feature or the Harvey Cliffhanger is in Super Bowl and how it got its name.